The following podcast is an Embassy Row production.
Welcome to a new episode. Oh, don't interrupt, for God's sakes. I'm trying to introduce the show. Welcome to another episode of the Shaken and Stirred Show. I'm Nigel Barker in New York, and I'm with my interrupting co-host, Tom Astor, in Oxford, England. Tom, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Nigel, but just so much better for talking to you live from England.
With your little grandfather clock or grandmother clock tinging away as usual. Everyone, that means it's 5 o'clock, which means pour yourself a drink, pull up a chair, put your iTunes, Google Play, whatever you listen to Shaken and Stirred on, and let's get down to it, shall we? We have a fabulous guest who is a up-and-coming musician. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But before we get there, Tom, what are you drinking?
Well, I've got to actually do I'm going to kind of jump. I'm going to get ahead of you here. Booze news. I've discovered booze news. My booze news is I've discovered something rather amazing. Having done this show for we've been doing it for however long, and trying to every week you sort of put together cocktails and try to put together interesting things, and and it's it's always possible. You got the internet and everything. I've discovered this app called the Highball app, and I've realised that this is basically an app that we should have probably put together about a year or two ago. It's got new era, contemporary classics, unforgettables, holidays. It's got all the cocktails you ever want to make on the thing, and it's super easy to use. You literally, I can use it. You just click the thing, and away you go. And it's something that we should probably have a look at and try and copy or steal or something. I don't know. I mean, it's amazing. So anyway, the cocktail I'm drinking tonight has got nothing to do with the Highball app. This was made for me by Mel, my personal bartender, who I have my not as per se barista, you should be a barista, yeah. Mixologist. Tonight, I'm drinking a Di Serrano sour.
Wow. By the way, you're running the show right now with booze news before the drink that has got nothing to do with the drink. The fact that you've just pulled your socks up and you've all of a sudden got a medallion around your neck. I'm wondering whether you're either going to break into song or you are you basically had a few of those Serranos already.
Listen, no, not really. It's 10 o'clock at night. I've been working all day. I literally haven't stopped. I stopped writing my last word for something else about 3 minutes late when I should have been on the show. Sorry, and the reason I was looking a bit fidgety there is because there was a ferret trying to clamber up through my trousers. So I've now tucked my trousers into my socks. And this is what we do in England of an evening.
There we go, people. You heard it there. Ferrets are first. Oh my God, on the Shaken and Stirred show, people. So tell me about your the Serrano.
The Serrano sour. The Serrano sour, amaretto, 2 ounces of amaretto, 1 ounce of lemon juice, dash of Angostura bitters, an egg white into a shaker over ice, poured, and the cherry on top.
Wow. So is that a dry shake then, first of all, with the actual egg white before you add those other pieces?
I can ask them questions like that. No, I don't stuck everything in a shaker. If I can have shook it over ice, I get complicated. Why do you complicate everything? Literally listening to you describe how you make your cocktail, it's just like, Christ, who on earth? Well, someone's got a pen and paper and they're writing that down. Chuck it all into the shaker and then pour it on, and it tastes pretty good.
The fine art of cocktail making from the snapper, people. Well, I've got a Sibarita right here, which is in fact a Negroni, but it means devoted to pleasure. The difference about this Negroni, and I'm into Negronis at the moment, as you may have discovered, because I've sort of been drinking a few of them recently, is the fact instead of having gin in the Negroni mix, you swap it out for rum. So this is a rum-based Negroni. It's rum, Campari, and sweet vermouth, whereas a traditional Negroni has gin, and it's equal measures, people. That's why the Negroni is a classic. It's 1:1:1. Although I'm using a Brugal 1888 rum, which is one of the oldest rums from the Dominican Republic. It's delicious, has a fabulous bottle covered in a sort of a net, and was created by a guy called Brugal in 1888. So it's like 130 years old. And they have really sort of stormed the market on the rum scene. And rum is the up and coming. It's the new gin, it's the new tequila, whatever you want to call it. And ironically, of course, rum used to be huge 100 plus years ago. It then kind of died out, became a sort of sailor's drink, and now all of a sudden it's hitting the market again. And I've got to say, it's utterly delicious. Cheers, Tom.
Yes, nice. But for the sake of our listeners, it's not 188 years old, this rum that you're drinking, right? It's decent, nice, fresh stuff.
It's probably made like last year or something.
Filthy stuff that's found in some cellar somewhere.
Absolutely delicious. All right. You had some booze news about a new app, and it sounds like Highball is an app we should have created. But I think, knowing us, we should probably come out with one called Lowball and really make cocktails the way you make them. Lowball, no balls. No balls, big balls, low balls, and high balls. We got all the balls you want on the Shaken and Stirred show. But I also have evidence of beer drinking 9,000 years ago, people. That is booze news. Up until now, we thought it was 8,000 years. I didn't even know humans existed 8,000 years ago. I mean, I thought before BC, what were we, like, running around like apes? Apparently, we were making beer. So 9,000 years ago in China, they found a spot where apparently in a burial zone, they found these pots where there were traces of ancient beer made from rice and grain, which, if you ask me, is actually sake, not beer, but they're calling it beer. So it's a rice beer, not a rice wine. And it predates any known existence of beer ever before, right? So this is a new thing. It's like discovering a dinosaur, people, and realizing that dinosaurs were around millions of years before. In the alcohol world, now we know people were drinking at the dawn of human existence 9,000 years ago in China. And I don't have much more than that, other than I'm fascinated, and I think we have a great guest coming up. Let's introduce him right now.
Yeah.
Drum roll, people. Boom. Our guest today was a model, and arguably still is. He's a musician on the verge of superstardom, a genius social media guru, and entrepreneur. Please welcome Shawn Pereira. Shawn, how are you?
Hello, everybody. What's up?
Dude, I want to know, first of all, you were highlighting the fact that you were coming on the Shaken and Stirred show. You're in this gorgeous house. You put it all over your social media. And I'm like, oh my God, you showed us the bar. You showed us where you were going to be doing it. You showed us also the fact that you got the time wrong and thought it was going to be doing it at 11 o'clock in the morning because you got the time zone wrong.
I'm going to look where I am now.
Now you're in the closet.
Super cool studio. Look at this is Sam. This is an artist named Sam. They're all in the back there. This is his studio.
I thought you were in the closet. I thought after you left the house and you're in a closet. Sam. Hey, Sam.
How are you doing?
We're doing very well, mate. You could have given him a dressing room. Why is he in the corridor in the closet? What's going on?
He has a dressing room, but he wants to be unruly, so I have to let him be free.
Out of the club.
Classic.
Classic.
Hold that right.
So, Shawn, while you're repositioning,
yes.
What are you drinking, Shawn?
So what I'm drinking is the new partnership that I am in called Agave. This is a blend. So we take the tequila from tequila and we press it down, ship it to Cognac, France, and it is blended. So it is a Cognac tequila blend called Agave.
Okay, but tell me why. Why does one want to blend tequila and cognac?
Because it tastes amazing.
Yeah, it is very, that's my wife holding the camera. So it is dangerously tasty. Tequila sometimes has a bite on it. Cognac, I don't really drink, but I know it's a smoother drink. So the blend together becomes this kind of tequila that you don't go, oh my God, that's tequila.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you here. First of all, I want to see you drink it. Second of all, I want to know why I wasn't sent a bottle or a case of it as well, so I could know what you're talking about.
You will receive one for sure.
There you go, all around people. Okay, and third of all, who created the idea? Did someone accidentally put tequila in their cognac? Because cognac is normally a very expensive drink. Tequila, perhaps not as much, but it's growing. I am curious, who was the first person to go, okay, tequila and cognac, people?
So that is an interesting thing. I think I would probably have to ask my friend Drew Hibbert, because they owned, remember Coralejo tequila, the big long blue bottles?
Sure.
That was their company before. And then probably, well, we all grew up in Newport Beach. So I would imagine bar hopping. Someone said, hey, you spilled your cognac into my tequila. That's pretty good. Let's try that. I don't know the exact, but I will ask him and I will find out.
Shawn, will put money on it right now that is not the story of how this drink was created. And I can't believe it. Here we are, brand ambassadoring for whatever it's called, RGV.
Instead of agave.
Okay, agave. I get it, agave. So, but you've come up with a complete story, an absolute fabricated story of someone spilling a drink in a bar. Which, by the way, they should probably go with it. It's more fun.
Right?
I love it.
What I'm actually about to do too is a reserve of it. So my friend makes Paul Reed Smith guitars, a guy named Wynn. And so what he designs all his 30 years of the the research and development for it. He said, Shawn, what if we take your logo, which is the sun, we put it inside the bottle with the cognac, the tequila's around it, and when you pour, it actually blends. So we're in the process of doing a reserve of this right now.
Interesting. That's interesting. So listen, Shawn, let's take us through this a little bit. You've got quite an interesting career. I'm going to sort of just talk about it for a second, but I want you to take us back because you did do a bit of modeling. You and I were in a similar period of time in history.
We were in the same places for sure.
For sure. I'm not, we probably ran into one another. I was probably that really good looking guy that you were intimidated by and didn't come up and say.
I saw you at the John Franco Ferret casting. And
there you go.
I don't know if you ever did that casting. You had to be in underwear. He wouldn't let anybody wear clothes. So we're all standing there like, really? We got to walk in our underwear just for the casting? And he'd stand there, and enjoy the whole thing. I saw you in the front. You went back twice.
Yes, I went back twice. I ended up doing the campaign, Shawn. So trust me, my motto being Mr. Underpants Man, my logo, obviously, that's what Tom, his mother calls me, Underpants.
I love it.
Obviously, look, you've got a music career now. You've got multiple albums out. You're a bit of a sensation, more than a bit of a sensation in Europe. You've done extraordinary things in Monaco. You've got a sort of show out there. You've hit the sort of big time in Brazil. But take us back. Take us back to who Shawn is. Where do you come from? Where did you first decide? Okay, I'm going to do something with my life.
Right. So born in Milton, right next to Pensacola, Florida. My dad was a fighter pilot, so we're just there for a minute. And then we moved and moved and moved and moved. I've never been to one school more than 2 years because of the military. Ended up in Yuma, Arizona, up till 75, then came back to California. So basically raised in Southern California. Tustin, which was where the big airfield was. There's Tustin, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach. So kind of lived there most of my life. Became a lifeguard at 15. Started that whole career of being a lifeguard. Stayed there. We were the ones with the long, we were the kids that our lifeguard boss loved us and let us have long hair as long as we kept it in a ponytail. So we were hippie lifeguards, basically, up to the point where I decided, okay, I'm 20 something years old. Maybe I should, lifeguard has been going on. Then I say, I don't know what to do. What am I going to do? So I go and bounce for one night. Here, bring it down just a little bit here, right there. I bounce for one night at a club called, McCormick and Schmick seafood restaurants?
I've heard of them.
Okay, so they're all over the place, but there was hey, you need a job. It paid nothing, 70 grand or $70 a night. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll take it after lifeguarding. Let's go. So first night, this guy named Danny said, Shawn, what are you doing this for? Why don't you come be my partner in the Monday night promotion we do? Well, every Monday night, my wife would come with all of her sorority girlfriends after their meetings, and they would come and come and come. We lived on 39th Street and 38th Street in Newport Beach. They had 7 girls. I had 6 guys. I didn't drink. I didn't do it. I worked 5 nights a week in the clubs. We were just, we were Orange County's top place to go. So one night they said, I think you're our neighbor. I said, oh, really? Well, guess what? Here's a VIP card. Ended up that they were my neighbors. And I saw Candace. I was like, wow, cool. Well, my son's here, but nice natural boobs. I loved her hair. I was like, I like this girl. So every night at the end of the night.
Wait a second, that was your pickup line? Nice.
No, my pickup line was Reasons by Earth, Wind, and Fire was our last song all the time. Every night at the end of our club, we played Reasons by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I said, hey, Danny and John, the DJ, and I was like, I'm going to go ask for the dance. I'm going to go ask for the dance. And I did. And it was awesome. And then I didn't really see her for a minute. Then we said, hey, let's go to the beach because we all lived right on the beach. I did a day with her. And then my buddy kept saying, hey, dude, what are you going to do? Keep folding towels in the club? Because we had black lights and all these sheets and everything. And I said, no, I'm going to come to Milan. Let me just get a job. So I kept going to a couple castings. Next thing you know, my first job was a Miller Beer job. So I was the Latin Miller Beer guy, holding up the cooler that obviously had nothing in it because it was completely sideways and all of it should have spilled out, but it didn't, old school CGI. And then I got the Crystal Light commercial. I went 9 days to Kauai. I was the only guy and 9 girls. We shot it. I actually was playing in the pool, lifeguarding again. I got in the, with 2 kids. I get in the elevator and the woman goes, I saw you playing with my kids and blah, blah, blah. You're here for the commercial. I know that. I said, cool. Who are you? Well, I'm the president of Kraft General Foods and you will be in the spot. Those are my kids. And I said, ooh, lovely. So that was done. Dove off the waterfall a bunch of times. Had the Waimea Baseballs divers like, hey, don't do it, man. Don't do it. I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. I grew up in Lake Havasu, diving off a 50-foot, the big cliff there. Didn't have water coming off, but anyway, did it, loved it. Then I said, I hung out with Candace on 4th of July. My roommates, all 9 of them, were going to, and a couple of other buddies, were going to Costa Rica. And I said, I kind of want to stay and meet this girl. And, I think I'm just going to stay. Shawn, all we want, because I'm a big body surfer, just come, take pictures. We'll pay for the whole trip. Yeah, I kind of like this girl. I'm going to stay. So I stayed home. We hung out, had a great time, and ended up 2 weeks later, my buddy was like, come to Milan. And I literally knew her 2-3 weeks and said, I'm leaving for Milan. And that was it. Took off to Milan. I had that Crystal Light money going. I went there and nothing happened. I was huge for Milan. I went Canali. I went to 1 casting for Canali, and I swear the suit jacket came up here. And he looked at me, I looked at him, I said, Alona, that's that. Like, that's not gonna work. So I just kept going and finding out where the people were.
Did you enjoy modeling? Did you enjoy the whole?
I still do. I actually just shot the new Camilla Soretti campaign in my pool, which is gonna have, I won't even say it now, but it's gonna have a couple very special covers coming up. We were, Harper's Bazaar stuff, and there's some very cool things coming.
Have you got any advice for Nigel about about how you stay in the modeling game? He's been out of it a bit.
I'm going to tell you one thing I did. I started writing songs with a new gentleman named Steve Dewberry, who wrote the Grammy track, I Don't Really Want to Fight No More, for Tina Turner. He's a vegan. So we've been writing, I'm on about track 4 with him. And he said, Shawn, eat 1 time a day, your autophagy will kick in. Your autophagy will help you lose weight. I lost 35 pounds in the last, I'm going to say 19 weeks. And the first 14, I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. And I said, you know what? This is not working. I'm not losing weight and I'm sober. I'm not happy. But the autophagy for sure works. And the 1 meal a day of either vegan or, I like red meat, so I'm a steak guy. He did make me watch that special Seaspiracy, which will make probably anybody not eat fish again. And I'm a big fish lover. So if I can narrow it to that, it's try to eat well. I work out, I do that thing, but it's the diet. The diet is 85% of it.
So what are you saying, Shawn?
There's hope for you.
You're telling me that I need to go on a diet. Is that's the secret here? Is that you're telling me that I need to stop eating and have 1 meal a day, and somehow that's going to relaunch my modeling career?
But I didn't say stop drinking.
You didn't say stop drinking. So you like the fact that I'm a part alcoholic, but you're not sure if I put on a few extra pounds and it suits me, is what you're trying to say.
Exactly. There you go. So anyway, so the modeling kept going, all fun. I started traveling around the world a little bit more. And one night in Jamaica, my buddies, and I'm actually this shop, the designer is Jamaican. I got on stage and I didn't realize it was the Wailers and some other people. And I kind of started singing a little bit. I'm like, man, that was really fun. Didn't think much of it. Went back home. And now this is, I don't even know what year that is. Candace wanted to learn guitar, my wife. And so we went to Guitar Center, met a kid. They said, hey, there's this other kid that teaches, or show you how to play guitar. I went and met him. He said, do you sing? No. Do this? No. Do you write? No. Yeah, well, I write like I talk quite a bit, a couple notes here, 1 or 2. Anyway, so based on her wanting to learn guitar, I became a musician and she became a trial lawyer.
Well, thank God someone's going to bring in the dough to pay the bills.
Hey, there's a new track coming that we just wrote. And she said it, and I said like this, honey, can you say that into the phone again? You know what? Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't pay the bill, doesn't pay the rent. So I wrote everything. I see you in the phone booth. You ain't Clark Kent, and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't pay the rent. Selling me $1 and you ain't got a cent, and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't pay the rent.
There you go. There you go, people.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's how you write a song right there. But
It
you
is,
know,
so we played that for the guy that's making the guitars. He said, you just bought a house with guitars. You bought it because we're gonna get some very fun people to actually sing it. But it is on. And in 1 hour, the team turns, I sit back, Steve sent it back to me and said, this is it, man. You just wrote a big one. So yeah, very funny. But now I'm a, you know, you can listen. I just always call myself Shawn. I like life. I love life. I love to do tons of things in life, and it's one of them. It's one of the things I enjoy. Creativity is another one, and thinking and doing, and you know, coming up with ideas for I don't even know, concerts or whatever it is. I just enjoy the creative process of it. And music. I mean, I was the kid with 19 crates of records that thought at 37 years old, I didn't start doing music until 37, that I wouldn't touch it. I would just be the kid that was a fan. So for me to have that, you know, I have to thank her for it all. And most of the tracks I write are based, you know, on some form of, you know, us together, you know, me screwing up somehow.
I can't imagine.
I cannot imagine. So my friends tell me you should just say you're unbelievable, because it's really, and you can ask her how many times a week or a day that she has to look at someone in their, you know, face directly and say, it actually is all real. He's not.
No, it's not that you're unbelievable. It's that you're ridiculous, which is completely different. I love it, actually. It's sort of, you know, you are one of those people who I hardly know, but I feel like I know you really well. It's very weird. Since the first time I've spoken to you, you have like...
You spoke with Steve. Remember me and Steve?
I spoke with Steve in the car. I was with him, and even he was rolling his eyes, but at the same time loves you. And it's one of those things where...
The part was like, Nigel, can you please talk to me? Like, what's this assistant thing? And blah, blah, blah. And he's like in the back with a shovel. Because when you said, oh, that's my wife, I was like,
hey.
So good. They talk about that all the time. Steve's like, you don't even believe the hole he was digging himself. But yeah, I mean, listen, it all comes from love. And that is the reason why I laugh every day. It's like, what is my problem? We can live in a tent wherever you could be. And I have that love. I mean, listen, when we play the game sometimes, what would you do when you get to the pearly gates? You know what she said? She wants to hear, Shawn's right over there. Like, I won.
No, what that means is that you die first. Otherwise, you wouldn't be up there, mate. Sorry. She's just hoping she's to the pearly gates. She wants to know that you died before she did. Sorry, mate. I don't know. However, you can read it out there. Or it means that you're on the other side of the gate. You haven't actually got in yet.
She goes, I like that. So either way, so yeah, so it's been a wild thing. The music has become so crazy because 3 years ago in St. Bart's, I'd seen the family festival, and there was Nicholas Said and Mr. Luke there. They were a duo. We ended up meeting. We actually did an album together. 2019 ended up going for 2 days, #1 on iTunes France, which we never believed. They called me in Newport Beach at our beach house. I wrote the entire album with a bunch of my friends. They said, you want to do the title track? I did 1, then I did 2, then I did 10. And I brought a bunch of fun people. Mark Goodman's daughter, Spencer, who was, remember, he was the very first DJ from MTV, the guy with the curly hair. So I did a bunch of really fun stuff. 2 days, we took everybody out. David Guetta, Avicii, everyone. We couldn't believe it. Then we had a change. Luke wanted to go do a different idea, like a little more happy house. We went darker. So I went with Nico and started doing deep electro soul. Now, Nicholas is the Prince of Monaco's music director. So that's how the drink got on the menu. And at the Blue Gin, the Love and Sunshine.
Okay, we're jumping all around here because there's a lot of stories going on here that not everyone knows.
Well, there's a whole bunch, but I'm getting to the last 3 years is really the dance music came. And so within all of that, hitting these numbers and doing these crazy things, I mean, it just started going. And from Blue Gin at Monte Carlo Bay, the Prince's #1 resort there, that is like the headquarters. That's where Nicholas is almost 5 days a week. We do most of our business from there. I'll be there in 2 weeks. I'm doing a whole bunch of different things. But so from there, Shawn, can we use one of your songs? Sure. Which one? The Love and Sunshine. What are you going to do with it? We'll show you. Here, I sent you the pictures. There comes the picture of the song as a drink on the menu. The next day went #1 drink in Monaco. Then they said, how about when the roulette table spins? What do you think we do with that? When it hits double zeros, the whole casino, the James Bond plays my song. All the champagne comes out, my song plays. I said, can you video that? Can't have a camera in there. One of the girls held it low and I got a video of the whole thing. Unbelievable. So all of these things. Another guy, my friend Chris. So he is a guy that's the head salesman in the world of BMW. Okay. He says, Nicholas, I have an idea. because BMW is a family-owned company. They wear tennis shoes, and it's not a big corporate kind of thing. It's a family-owned business. His buddy, since 9 years old, is the head of all communications at BMW in Stuttgart. Right? Give me 10 words is what I said. I flew back home. We'd just written the second part of our second album. Let me have the words. Sends me 10 words. In 10 minutes, I got the song. I send it back to him. We start doing the music. I come back, and we have, he's famous on Duck. He only speaks English very, very little, Chris Dushin. Duck. And he sends me little emojis of the duck. So we go have Duck. He says, I have a surprise for you. What's a surprise? I'm going to make 600 wood beautiful boxes and a USB key. You're going to curate it. What does that mean? Me and Nicholas are going to pick the 10 tracks, right? So we do that. Then it's making the sales go. Now this is February 13 of last year, right when COVID was going to hit, of 2020, right? I fly home. I'm at Lake Havasu. We're on the boat. They call me. They said, Shawn, you're the official sound of BMW. They've taken your track all the way up through the ranks, and what does that mean to me? I don't know. Great. I love that. I'm crying. I'm an emotional dude. The next thing I know, I go back and they said, come film the documentary. So there's cameras all over Monaco, and the salesman, they don't tell the salesman. The salesman is like trying to sell me a car and saying, hi, Candace, in the backseat, thinking the cameras are for my wife back in California. He shows me the entire, how this works, the brand new, it was when the i3 came out, right? I get in the car, you can see all this on YouTube, just search my name. You hit the button and I play, you have no choice. So we are now built into the fabric of the car. When you hit from Monaco coming this way now, the second you hit start, End of Code plays. Our song Moving to the Future is the track we wrote for them. Instantly plays. He now actually just got a job at Xerox. They paid him to leave. What's he say? His thing message to me is a video last week. He says, Shawn, it's not coming out. You will remain, you are, and are going to be the official sound of BMW. And we want new songs for Xerox now. So now I'm ready. He's going to move to Xerox Monaco. And now I'll do. So it's all these internal flames that just keep coming. And I don't have an agent. I just got my actual manager. His kid goes to school with my kid, Steve Hart's. They're in the same school, Topanga Elementary.
So let's just break this down for a moment, because there's so much information. You're like a wealth of knowledge, but you're also so infused and passionate that you're like a mile a minute. And so it's like, I mean, you listen and break down everything you're saying. There's so many extraordinary comments that come out that I'm like, wait a second, did he just say that? Did he just say that? So take us back for a second. Go back to Monaco. Okay, you have your cocktail, Love and Sunshine cocktail, which is like the cocktail in Monaco that plays whenever anyone gets 00 on the roulette table. Yep. Very fond of you. How the heck do you know the Prince of Monaco?
So, interesting fact. Prince Albert wanted to be a musician. He didn't want to be the prince. He wanted to be a musician. So my buddy Nicholas has been around for quite a long time.
Poor Prince Albert. Sorry, Albert.
I knew that was coming.
You can't be a rock star. You got to be a prince.
Right? So he's a fun dude. So I don't know the actual way that Nicholas met him, but it's been years. And all of a sudden he DJ'd one thing and DJ'd another thing. The boat show's coming up. So we have a couple really big surprises. I can't say all together yet because I like to talk about it after it actually happens. But some really cool things at the boat show are coming up. But he started going and DJing all these boat shows all around. There's only 19 places in Monaco that you can go. Buddha Bar, the Sporting Club for the bigger shows, Jimmy's, Blue Gin, and all the little kind of things at the Prince. It's the SBM. So it's the what do you call it? It's the municipality of Monaco. The Prince has a group, and there's 19 different clubs, and beach bars, and restaurants in there, right? So within that, Nicholas started DJing all of them and DJing another one, and then obviously said, "Why don't you be the music director?"
No.
You know what I mean? So how we knew the Prince is on a different level, because Nicholas has been around him for a long time, right? So that relationship was nurtured through music, really, and my partner, Nicholas. He's there 5 days a week. When the Prince comes, they're scrambling everywhere. And Nicholas, hey, it's just, it's just a very rare, interesting fact. And Nicholas is a street kid, man. This guy came from, there's another big thing I gotta say about it. He was living with a guy named Hervé Desjardins, okay? Back in the day when they were 9 and a little bit older. They had to put coins in number 27 to pay for 15 more minutes of gas. Okay. Now the deal that we just are sealing that I did yesterday is, have you ever heard of Immersive Sound? 3D spatial audio. Hervé invented it 20 years ago. And now everybody wants them. So he called me.
By the way, I feel like I'm in that right now. I feel like I'm in immersive sound right now.
Exactly.
Whereas most of my guests find themselves in a quiet little spot with no other audio, I can hear all kinds of other conversations, people walking by.
Right.
There's like a, I mean, I might as well have a ferret climb up your leg for all, you know. Although with your laugh, it sounds more like it might be a stray little sort of Macau monkey that goes up your leg.
Right. So imagine this. So I just got off the phone yesterday with Hervé, and we had a long conversation. He's being pushed massively by, do you know who Jean-Michel Jarre is?
Of course.
Okay, so that's the other partner. So, you know, this is the guy. Yes, this is the guy charged with the 3.5 million person concert, the biggest concert ever in the world. It's Jean-Michel Jarre. So he is pushing Hervé. We are pushing together. I go and sit with the directors of, so Hervé's shop is at Radio France. Okay, his whole network, everything he built is at Radio France. He said, Shawn, these guys are calling me and asking me to do this. So if I can explain it the easiest way, Hervé has the sushi fish. He created the fish, which is Immersive Sound. He also has the best sushi knives, how to chop it up. And all these other companies, Apple, Warner, they're all trying to have their kids chop it up and they don't know how. Hervé's a quiet dude. He's a big guy, but he's, Shawn, you deal with the business. Well, what do I call it? You and me. Wait, you want me to call it You and Me Productions? No, let's figure out a name. So me and Nicholas and Hervé are on the phone. So we came up with End of Code Immersive Entertainment Group. So this is my hat, End of Code. That's my latest tattoo. End of Code basically means what I do in concert. If you believe in peace, you do this. If you believe in freedom, you turn them to the side. To end the codes we've all been taught to live by. Why can't we create new ways of living that aren't within these codes, right? So on the 28th, I fly from Nice, I'll be in Nice, to Paris to sit with the directors of Radio France to do the deal where we are going to now start remixing all of the big catalogs, huge 15 years worth of work. So he's going to do a couple of my tracks first to show me what this is like and how this goes. And it's going to be, I mean, he said yesterday, Shawn, when you see it, you will experience what it is. It is 18.1. So one is bass and the 18 speakers around you, and they can move your voice everywhere and all over the place. My son and Dewberry's kid and my friend Sahar, who owns the jewelry line, they got to sit in the very first $440,000 immersive bed. And you lay in it, and you think you're in a spaceship. And I asked the guys at L Acoustics, I said, hey, Dave, is this the first kids that have ever sat in this? There's only 4 in the world, one in Dubai, one off Westlake Boulevard, one in 20 minutes out of Paris, and I think Asia, they said the other one was. There's no other ones. They just started making these, and these kids last week got to sit in, because what we're doing is taking the L Acoustics, which is speakers that Hervé loves, and using his sushi knives with those speakers, and now we have Paris, now we have Los Angeles, and we're creating all these spaces to start remixing everybody's music. So I'm talking entire massive catalogs will be, all we need is the stems, which means like the track, like the bass and the this and the that, and everybody.
How did the sushi knives play into this?
Because the easiest way to say it to me is he made the fish and everybody comes with all their techniques, right? The sushi, how you gonna carve that fish, right? And I told everybody that yesterday. He was dying laughing. He's like, Shawn, you realize that I love Asian food and sushi. And I said, well, that's what I use to describe what you do. You have the best knives and you made the fish. So imagine immersive sound is also the next level of things, which is basically there was mono and then stereo. And in 2 years, there will be no stereo. It will only be immersive sound, and it's us. We have it. We have the guy that invented it, and we are all now in partnership. And Radio France has given us, what's going to happen with them is they're going to be the full capacity of their magnitude. They're the largest conglomerate radio station in the world and the smartest engineers. Now that's at, on our team, in our court.
But how can a regular person enjoy immersive sound?
It goes into any speakers. You can go into any speakers and you'll be able to hear it through it because it moves around within it. So that's his big speciality, is that he can take that immersive sound and put it in 2 speakers. So it can move actually around, it functions around within the mix. You don't have to have 18 speakers around, because when you do, it's very crazy. All you hear is, and the other ones, and you walk around the room and they can take the vocal and chase you all the way around the room. So, the O2 Arena in London, that now has L Acoustics So the speakers I talked about and air-based technology, the immersive sound. All the Omnia clubs now have it. And I believe the Hollywood Bowl is the only other one.
So is this something that's going to hit cinemas and movie houses around the world too?
We're all over that. That's what's coming next.
Amazing. And so your music, I mean, I've listened to a lot of your songs and End of Code and all the rest of it. And it seems that would play very well into that, right? It would really play into that kind of sound. Is that something, I mean, you know, obviously, look, you've obviously played a lot of clubs and a lot of scenes. With pandemic, has it been very hard for you to play in the pandemic when people can't go to clubs and they can't meet en masse?
So I would say for me, the most beautiful thing about the pandemic is I actually learned to record myself. I didn't know how to do that. I'm a writer. So I popped out 70 tracks. Every day. I released 8 tracks just in the last 9 weeks because I can write. So that's one thing where everybody's like, wow, how do you do that? I said, no, we're fortunate. We live up in the hills of Topanga. We have wide spaces. We can hike 26 miles right out our back door. We can see the valley, but we can also see the ocean. We're 9 minutes from the ocean and, 7 minutes to Ventura Boulevard, which is lovely. And I created, what was funny, we had a school, a law firm, and a recording studio, and a live space all in our house. My whole entire downstairs became the recording studio. And upstairs is where I did the vocals for Quiet. And you believe me, you can't even imagine how many times I pulled out the money. Griffin, just 3 more minutes. I got to get this vocal done. Can you stop the Xbox for 3 minutes? I can hear it because I use the Neumann mics, the Neumann UA7. It picks up the neighbor, sneezing 5 houses down, right? So I would say the pandemic, in the weirdest way, it was, thank God we're healthy, but it actually was a good thing for us. It made you rethink things and rediscover things that you didn't think about. If you had the capacity to do that and stay healthy and, loving and open in your heart, you could get a lot of stuff done. So it did not hurt me. We actually gained. I went from, we just did that Ibiza Global Radio. That was the big thing that I did last week. So we sent out SoundCloud. We're crazy. We sent out SoundCloud links just to different people. One of them, actually 2 of them. One of them was Arthur and Batias out of Kiev. They're the #1 band on Spotify for electronic music. Inboxed us. Can you send us the stems? They were doing a remix. They were signed by David Guetta at WME. These guys are going crazy. Another one was Jose, the head of Ibiza Global Radio. So Ibiza Global Radio is 16 million monthly listeners. And he also is the head of Space, the most awarded club in Ibiza, and Tomorrowland, one of the gigantic festivals. Shawn, can you do a 1-hour set? Nico, can you do it? He's the DJ, I'm the singer and the writer. We do it, and me and Candace are in our front room with the big screen on. It's playing on Bastille Day. They gave us the Bastille Day set, like 5 o'clock, perfect timing, afternoon in Ibiza, right? Instantly, the whole room of DJs starts there in Ibiza starts going, whoa, amazing. Who's the vocalist? Who's the artist? Because typically DJs buy the vocals. They don't sing. And I said, no, it's me. And they just flipped out that I was the vocalist and the lyricist, because in a typical DJ duo set, they're DJing, they're not singing and producing and writing, or they're producing, but they're not typically writing the tracks, which taught me that, wow, we've got a niche here. We've got something different, because now they're asking me to do labels with them in Ibiza. The guy from Barcelona Radio asked me to do it. All of them are now saying, wow, you do that? And it's at this level. I learned something. I said, wow, I never thought that you got to be specific and clear, because if you're not, they think you bought the vocal somewhere. So that was one of our main angles, is that it's me. It is me singing, and I don't know how to DJ, but Nicholas is going to teach me when I have to get up there and look like it. But I'm out there with the mic. I can talk and dance, do all that fun stuff. But, again, pandemic didn't hurt us. And now we're actually more prepared now to go out, which we're about to do. So I go here, then I go to Boston for all of Boston Fashion Week. I host a weekend. I host that, right? That's 18 and 19. Then I fly directly to London. And then I go to Nice. Then I go to Ibiza for 2 days to go with all the guys that are playing my music everywhere in every beach club. And then I come back home on October 5th. My birthday is October 22nd. I have a giant show with the Jacksons, new little duo. So my manager, it's like I said, the Jacksons. So we have that duo. We've got Andrew, who's here, who's the biggest DJ for Omnia. He books everybody at Omnia as well. And on the 23rd, we're going to blow it out in a place called Bakari. And that's right there in Silver Lake. Beautiful. Looks like he landed in Tulum.
Amazing.
And it just keeps going. It just doesn't stop, and I can't stop. Like I'm in the city that doesn't. I keep telling everybody, I'm in the city that doesn't sleep, and neither do I. I sleep maybe 2 hours a night. I don't do drugs. I'm not. I mean, I do. I drink. I don't have anything in my system. I don't take Advil, vitamins, nothing. Food, booze. Try to sleep 2 hours a night, but it's really just all love. Like my heart is so full.
I mean, dude, you are literally a million miles an hour. I mean, it is quite something else. I don't think I've ever come across anyone who's
my wife's laughing.
Sort of like hyped up in my life, and it's sort of like I don't even know where to begin. I'm not sure if it's exhausting or exhilarating. It's kind of both at the same time. I'm like, I sort of listen to you, and I'm like, I'm not doing the talking, but I'm like, oh my god, am I living this through him? But you know, for a second here, I mean, you know, just from a more, you obviously have a busy career. You're obviously right. It's very interesting for a lot of people to listen. This is, by the way, this is Shawn Pereira. Anyone who's tuning in right now, we're talking to him. He has an incredible, you know, album out, End of Code. He's got a really interesting career. But when I listen to you, you've obviously seen a lot of different things happen, and you live in the US, but you really hit it big in like Europe, in the Euro scene, in Monaco,
Brazil.
And Brazil as well, South America. How is the music scene different in Europe, South America to the US?
So I would say that it's going to sound terrible, but there's a sophistication and something different about the European scene of music. There's an element of they are alive. Europeans to me are very alive. They're, you know, when I go to the clubs, when we go out, it is sometimes, you know, and all the beach clubs, children, grandfathers, mothers, grandmas, you know, they're all together. Not, you know, it's a very different thing in America where, you know, Joey goes out at 11:30 and is 21 and mom doesn't go, dad doesn't go, his brothers aren't there or his sisters aren't there. So that vibe of inclusion is what I see around the world. And again, there's such an inclusion that I joy from it. I just go, wow, look at that. That's why everybody's here with me. That's why when I'm going to the club, we did the Shabbat prayer. I was sitting at the Kimberly Hotel on the rooftop and I said, oh, we forgot to do the Shabbat prayer. They were where were you guys at?
We were at the Empire State Building.
They were at the Empire State Building. They squatted down. I sat there at my table with my iPhone and did the prayer out loud, and I could have cared less because I'm not there to impress you. I'm there to enjoy the quality of life that you guys are alive.
You're Jewish as well, then?
I'm not. My wife isn't, which makes my son Jewish. I was raised Catholic, but you know what I'm about? If you're a good person and you've got a spirit in you that is good, good. I lived with 9 guys in Milan in a 1-bedroom, and she stayed in it for 3 months too. We slept in the kitchen on a single bed that folded out. Nobody was the same religion. And we all sat there and said, let's ask questions. And we all did. And what we realized, and I wrote a position paper on it called Prime Information. If you could have prime information when you were young and realize that you're from there, you're from here, I'm from here, there's all these things that we don't know about each other, but we could learn. Probably the world would grow up a lot more understanding of culture and why people do things in life, right?
Absolutely.
But either way, so the difference for me is just what I said. It's that zest of life. I lived in Italy 10 years and I never saw more fun coming out of going to Rimini, Riccione, Alasso, San Remo, Bologna, Bari, Lecce, Elba. Like all these places are just alive. People are enjoying life. And I don't see that. We have in California, not one beach club that plays music that you dance at. Nowhere. And I always think, I love living here, but like, you don't go out because I don't want to go to a club. I want to go to Nikki Beach or like to one of the, you know, a beach club, La Plage, something fun and chill with my family and dance and be in the sun and enjoy the nature. So that would be a huge difference in America that I see. Is we don't, or for whatever reason, it hasn't caught on here that, wow, you should really actually be living your life. But one of my main quotes that I tell everybody is, all you get is dead. At the end of all this, dead is your reward. Rich, famous, poor, drunk, broke, sober, stressed out, not stressed out, your reward on a long enough timeline is you're out of here. Why wouldn't you live it? Figure out a way to.
Yeah, wise words from Shawn Pereira, people. That right there. Live it. Live right now. In fact, only sleep 2 hours because you've got time to sleep when you're dead. Clearly, you know, go to bed.
So Dewberry told me, Shawn, if you get sleep, it goes faster. So it spins quicker. You can get more done because I always think I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss something, but they believe me, my whole neighborhood, everybody in my life, Shawn, you got just sleep. I do try. I literally try to sleep, but when you're working around the world, guess what? Then Vietnam calls you, then Paris calls you. You can stay up 24 hours a day easily, enjoyed from another energy that's connecting to you from another part of the world, thanks to the power of.
Or you could schedule your calls in a reasonable time, and you could just get a good night's sleep, mate. And your wife might enjoy you next to her in the bed. Or if you're awake all night, she probably wants to kick you out of the bed because she's like,
no. Oh, look at her. No.
Yeah, I got you, darling. I got you. I know exactly what she's thinking right now. She's like, yeah, I know. Go piss off. You're awake all night long. I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, I got to be a trial lawyer. I got shit to sort out.
That is true. That is very true. So my son calls me the Yapperkin because I'm the American that just yaps all I can. The Yapperkin. So it is, funny stuff. But you know what? I've got a healthy self-image, so I can take it.
Talk to us about the sophomore album.
The sophomore album?
Yeah.
So what this is going to be is, and what we keep doing is changing this because what is happening in Ibiza now is this very vibey afternoon loungy feel. So what we're on now is this natural affair. I thought you understood. It's this very chill out. It's like what chill out was before. There was tropical chill. They rename it all the time. It's electro chill, electro pop, electro soul. But yeah, so that album is a testament to what and how the world has changed from wanting to oof, oof, oof all day long. Because again, most of the places in Europe, you can't dance right now. It's still, you can spin your napkin, and I see it. I see the cameras playing my music, and they're sitting there. They want to do it, but they can spin their napkin, and they can't dance. Yeah, a lot of them. So that vibe has become, okay, we'll have a conversation, and I can't have a conversation to, I can 1, 2, like chill. It's much more vibey. So we've been writing that way. And again, I don't plan it when I write it. It just comes out. The lyrics come out. Nicholas will send me a beat, and the next thing you know, we're going. And now I'm writing with Steve Youre, much more of a George Michael, Brian Ferry, Seal style of things that I haven't played to anybody. A few people have heard it, but we're just writing it in the last 2 weeks. So it's the sophomore is, you're a little more classic, a little more classy now. They've got to mellow out because of the COVID has definitely changed that energy to have a conversation, eat your meal, have a bottle of wine, have your drink, and now you have lounge music that you can actually sophisticated music. It's what most people would go to dinner to, especially in New York. I hear it all day long here in New York, but it's just a little newer version of that. Not by any, it's just how it came out. And again, I write just to write. I love writing. I just did a track with the big Eagles writer, Jack Timshin. He wrote Peaceful Easy Feeling, Already Gone. His first hit was Slow Dancing by Johnny Rivers. You Belong to the City, Smuggler's Blues, the theme to Miami Vice. Are You Gonna Stay with the One Who Loves You, Going Back to the One You Love? All the big Eagle stuff. And I didn't realize when I did it, he called me yesterday, Shawn. He's a funny old dude, like just a great, great man. But again, these guys are big writers that are sitting around because radio's not gonna pay millions of dollars for them to be on the air. And they don't get the love, but they're still writers. So I get to go write with them. I didn't realize the Eagles album, Greatest Hits #1, is the most sold album of all time ever. Yeah. Taken out by Michael Jackson in 2009 for Thriller. In 2018, the Eagles took it back. So my first collaboration is with the top dogs in the world. Like it only, you look at yourself and you're like, how is that even possible? I have the kid Frederick Arnault from LVMH opening up the Tag Heuer store in South Coast Plaza 3 weeks ago. My buddy Dominic says, guess what? They just opened a store. I go, Dominic, 26 years ago, I was the guy. Who's the kid? Frederick Arnault. I text him on Instagram. At 3 a.m, he texts me back, Shawn, you realize that when we look for, thank you, nice to meet you. When we look for a new campaign, we put your picture up. 4 days later, his father took over the richest spot in the world. Bernard Arnault, that owns LVMH, is the $194.9 billion. Took them all out. He's putting up my picture and putting iconic and tagging me in it. He doesn't do stories. He did me as a story. So that these energies, you couldn't script that.
You can't script it. In fact, I think you should stop supporting agave and create your own alcohol just called Shawn Pereira and be could bottle your energy, everyone would drink it, mate, and probably have shots of it. Look, at this point in the show, we have something called Last Orders, which is a little rapid fire where we get to know Shawn a little bit better. Which, by the way, at this point, if you don't know Shawn, if you don't know the fact that this guy has got more energy than basically cocaine, he's the real deal right here. He's just full of energy. Tom, you want to lead us along?
One of the quick fire questions. Yeah, they quick fire one answers really. So Bart's or Ibiza?
St. Bart's for sure.
Well, I was not expecting that. Growing old disgracefully or growing old gracefully, feeling younger the older you get, or you never grew up? Which one describes you best?
Never grew up.
Never grew up.
Shocker.
Okay, that's a good one. Now, lastly, in the movie of your life, who would you like to see play you?
The movie of my life? Who play me?
Yeah.
Not me.
You say you.
Yeah, himself. He's going to play himself in the movie of his life. He's not going to have anybody else take any of the limelight. Shawn, you are a one-man band.
Nigel, hang on, you're missing something. He's the only second person on our show who's ever said that. The other person who said that was a leading psychologist. So Shawn, I'm with you on that one. Great. The last question that Nigel likes to ask it because he hasn't actually spoken enough on this thing, and I think if I don't get him to give him the chance to answer this question, he won't have said nearly enough. So Nigel, would you like to ask the last question?
Shawn, shaken or stirred?
Shaken.
And why?
It just seems like there's a lot more energy in shaking than stirring.
And that's it, people, right there. Shawn Pereira, lots of energy. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Let's write a song. Shake it, shake it, shake it. I think we got something right here. All right. Check it out. End of Code, the sophomore album coming up. Where can people find your music, Shawn?
Everywhere. Anywhere I always tell everybody, anywhere you love and listen, I'm there.
There you go.
Anywhere you love and listen, Deezer, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you love and listen, it's all there. It's everywhere.
Fantastic. And check us out at Shaken and Stirred Show. We're going to have clips from this episode. We're going to have all kinds of little bits so you can listen to Shawn's music and all the rest of it. We really loved having you on. You're such a laugh. I can't wait to photograph you myself.
I can't wait too.
Such a blast. It's going to be the most ridiculous photo shoot of all time, but we're going to have so much fun. It's going to be off the hook.
Looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much. It's so much fun. So glad to talk to you guys. Just feel
love to the family, my friend. Love to the family.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye, man. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much for listening. That is Shaken and Stirred. We will be back next week with another podcast and another fantastic guest. And stay safe.
See ya.